Thanks for visiting Patient and the Weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stress for April 19th, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We also maintain a patient weather storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our patient weather storefront support the activities of patient weather. Looking at the frontal positions for Sunday, the 19th, we have that major frontal thrust that has been unsettling weather across the east, off the eastern seaboard, lingering only through central Florida and southern Texas and keeping some unsettled weather there. A second cold front stretches all the way from Erie to St. Louis back to Cheyenne, and it's triggering some unsettled weather in eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and there's still lingering activity, even some snow up here in New England. Looking at our vitality index, it's pointing us to activity across Southern California, the Four Corners, a little bit of activity here in northern Great Lakes, and then lots of activity up the Appalachians and along the Gulf, all the way up through New York State. Looking at the change in pressure, you'll see that for most of the eastern portions of the country, we have rising pressure from southern Texas across the Gulf all the way to Georgia, and then up the eastern seaboard all the way to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then swinging back across the Great Lakes and northern plains from the Dakotas clear over to Michigan and picking up then much of upstate New York. The only area of falling pressure still lingering in Maine. Looking at the change in temperature, as that will be very interesting, we have warming temperatures across almost all of the West, and we have deeply chilling temperatures along the southern Gulf, over to Georgia, and then up the eastern seaboard, all of the Appalachians through Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and into New England. Looking at the change in dew point, it's very much reflective of that same pattern. We have increasing dew points up through the southwest, into southern California, across the Four Corners, and up into the middle Mississippi Valley. But we have falling dew point temperatures here along the Gulf, over to the eastern seaboard, and then all the way up the Appalachians. And the vapor pressure map really confirming it, but does show that rising, pushing right up through West Texas on into the Four Corners. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, we have a significant risk of migraine running from southwestern Texas back over to the Texas coastal areas along the Gulf, cutting across Louisiana, picking up the southeastern states all the way to Georgia, and still spotty across much of Florida, and then all the way up the Appalachians through eastern Tennessee, Kentucky, up all the way in through Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and then up into New England, but then cutting back across the Great Lakes, going all the way to Minnesota, Wisconsin, picking up northern Indiana, Ohio, and upstate New York. Looking at the risk for asthma and arthritis, we have a touch here in Southern California, and then across the plains from Colorado all the way into Kansas, and picking up Utah and some portions of Idaho. We also have a small risk of asthma and arthritis lingering right along the southeastern Maine coast. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt,